Currently is bullied. Okay, number one. So it's not. You need more than your calculator, so yeah, Brady will be in a little bit of trouble on this one. But you start. It starts with the calculator. So do you guys remember from the past? How did we find?
What page?
The 0.7.
What page?
299. How did we find the angle in this situation here?
Sine.
Right. Usually it's sine of the angle equals the ratio, but if you have sine of what equals this ratio, you want to do sine inverse of negative 0.7. Make sure your calculator is in degrees for 1 through 12. Well, we're doing 1 through 21, but...
Wait, 299.
290, oh, 299, I wrote 291 down.
1 through 20, what?
1.
1 through 19, I heard.
1 through 9?
1 through 12.
Wait, 1?
Wait, I'm confused. What did you say, dude?
We haven't even started yet. Are you confused with that?
Not you.
Okay, if you want to find the angle, then you do sine inverse of the ratio to get that angle. Make sure your calculator's in degrees. So what'd you guys get?
Negative 44.427.
Okay, the directions say round to the 10th place.
4.4.
44 point what?
Make
Four.
sure your calculator is in degrees and not radians.
It's in degrees, it says 4.
44.4.
That's what I
How do you
said.
know?
Okay.
Nevaeh, you just need to apply yours.
You insulted my height
I feel
and
like
my intelligence.
I feel like if you applied yourself, you would do a lot better.
I think we insulted your height, not assaulted your height. Why would I insult
I
your
said
height?
you
You
insulted.
said assault.
I said insult.
No, you said
I
assaulted.
said insult.
You said you have assaulted.
Alright, anyways. So this
Because
is...
Native Americans.
Guys, this is not actually the answer. So when you plug in sine inverse, it's going to give you an answer from negative 90 to 90, like in this range right here. Or if you're in radians, it would be like negative 1.57 to 1.57 in radians.
Oh my God.
But what we're supposed to be doing is, in the directions it says solve for theta is between 0 and 360 degrees. So basically what they gave us here is our reference angle, and we're supposed to turn in to the angles between 0 and 360. No, I didn't say that very well.
What are they?
You lost. So for sine specifically, it only gives you from 90 to 90.
Sine inverse. Sine inverse. It's going to give you an answer from here to here. Cosine inverse goes from 0 to 180.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Cosine inverse is going to be in one of these two quadrants. But our answer is supposed to, so they gave us like negative 44.4.
And it wants us to
But we're supposed to give our answers from 0 to 360, where this would work at. So basically, where is sine negative at?
Sector
3 and 4. It's sine is based on y. So sine is that, basically. So I need a third quadrant angle between 0 and 360, and a fourth quadrant angle between 0 and 360. That has this for its reference angle, 44.4. Okay, so the third quadrant angle is going to be 180 plus 44.4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You need a third.
So it's
So it's negative
for this
224.
one, yeah. So it's 180 plus 44 is 224.4. And then negative 44.4, although it's in the fourth quadrant, it's not between 0 and 360. So basically this is going to be 360 minus 44.4. Which comes out to, what does that come out to?
So negative
115.6.
44.4 isn't an answer.
Or 315.6. No. If it was like positive 44.4, it would have been an answer, because sometimes this will be an answer, but it's not between 0 and 360. Does that make sense? The direction said we need an answer, we need theta between 0 and 360.
Okay, and then negative 44 is the.
Negative 44 is not.
But it's less than.
Yeah, it's less than 0.
315.
Did I get that right? 315.6? Yeah.
And how did you get 315?
I did 360 minus 44.4. Remember the reference angle, that tells you how far it should be from 360 or how far it should be from 180.
And I missed all of those up on the test.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Alright. You guys get both of those? Are we,
Yes,
The
Poppy.
two answers.
those? You don't have to draw the picture, but
Wait, we got both answers?
yeah.
So there's two answers on every question?
Yeah. Unless it's like sine equals 0.
What is the,
So it's how far away from 360 and 180 it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
what's the
So where did
something point
the
6,
zero
what is the,
This is 315.6. It's the second answer.
we just did 360 minus.
Yep.
Okay, and then cosine is 0 to 180, so you would be looking for the first and second quadrant.
Well, no. Cosine inverse can only spit out an angle from 0 to 180.
Okay.
But we're saying all the other answers that would work besides the one that they give us. Okay, this is a possibility, like this is a possible answer, but we're just saying from 0 to 360, where else would it work? Basically, I don't know if that makes sense.
And there's only two other places?
Yes, because if it's positive, it's going to be in the two positive quadrants. If it's negative, it'll be in the two negative quadrants.
Okay, so like if it's cosine, it's gonna be on that side.
Right, cosine is positive over here and negative over there, so, yeah, we're gonna have two answers on all these. Probably, unless they did like cosine equals 1 or something.
And then sine
I don't see those.
sine is positive on the top, negative on the bottom.
Yes.
And we only found the negative. Right?
Yeah, we only found the negative quadrants, because it was a negative.
Oh, okay, so if it's a positive answer. if I-
Or actually, yeah. Probably should look at that, not that, but.
So if it's negative, then it's negative, positive.
Liberia.
Yes.
Siberia?
Okay, number 3, tangent of theta equals 1.2, so what do we do first?
Tangent
Tangent inverse of 1.2. Somebody tell me 50.2. Okay, so this is a positive 1.2. Do you guys remember where tangent was positive at?
Top right, bottom left.
Yes.
First.
Okay, so we already have the first quadrant angle because that is the first quadrant angle. So that's one of the answers. So how do I find the third quadrant angle?
Take 180 and subtract.
And,
plus.
right, it's
That's right.
it's 50.2 past 180, right? So we're gonna do 180 plus 50.2.
Which equals 230.2.
You guys get 230.2.
Okay, so you guys understand what these two numbers mean? If you plug in tangent of 50.2, you should get that. If you plug in tangent of 230.2, you should get that. These are only,
The two possible outcomes that are possible.
those are possible between 0 and 360. If you added 360 to these, they would still give you that. But we're only going from 0 to 360.
Wait, so those were our two answers?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's negative, okay.
Okay, on number 3, so it gave us a positive 1.2. So where's tangent positive here and here? So the first answer they gave us was that is a first quadrant
Mm-hmm.
answer. So we just kept that for one of our answers. And then the third quadrant answer, tangent is also positive down here. So we did 180 plus 50.2. It's like a reference angle thing.
So then wait, the last one was sine, and we got 224.4, and that's in the third quadrant.
Right. Okay, so on the last one, it was sine equals something negative. Sine is negative on the bottom two quadrants, third and fourth quadrant. They gave us negative 44.4, which is not between 0 and 360. So I changed it to 360 minus 44.4 to get the fourth quadrant angle, and 180 plus 44.4 to get the third quadrant angle.
But isn't that quadrant negative?
Yes, both of these are negative, because they gave us sine equals negative something.
Oh, okay. So it's
So
both
it had to be in these two quadrants. If it would have been positive 0.7, well, first of all, it would have been positive 44.4, so that would have been our first quadrant angle. And then I would have done, would have done 180 minus 44.4 to get the second quadrant angle.
Oh,
We do a few more of these, we'll probably start making a little more sense. Number 5. If we plug our answers in the calculator, like tangent of whatever what was our answer on 3?
50.2.
Tangent of 50.2 or tangent of whatever the other one, 230.2. It should come out the same on the calculator. That's what they're saying. These are only two possible answers. There's a lot of things that come out the same. Number 5, secant. You guys remember what secant was a reciprocal of? So we need to plug in 1 over cosine inverse of negative 5.
Yep.
Mine is saying.
Didn't like it.
Math error.
Okay, then let's do. How did I do this last
Let's
year?
just scratch off 5.
No.
It's fine.
There's another way to do it, but I feel like there should be an easier way.
No, it's okay.
Is there a reciprocal button? Probably not.
Reciprocal. You're like reciprocal. Oh.
Mine is really bad.
All right.
Is it shift S to D? Or that's.
Okay.
Is it negative 5?
All right. I can't think of another way to do it. So let's just do this.
You have to just plug it in the calculator like you just put it?
Did it work on yours?
Yeah.
They're saying it didn't work on theirs.
Yeah, it didn't work enough.
Oh, try. Did you guys hit fraction bar or fraction button?
Yeah.
Okay. Try hitting divide button instead of fraction button.
Well, cosine inverse of negative 5 doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just this.
Like by
Oh. I must have put the wrong thing.
It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That makes sense now.
Was it
No solution.
No. It's not a solution. I don't remember this one. Well, negative 5, guys. No. Oh. Oopsie. I didn't need to flip the cosine, I needed to flip the thing. Yeah.
So it does the same effect?
My bad, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we haven't done reciprocal with the inverse yet, but yeah, we need to flip the, negative 5, not the cosine. Alright, what'd that give us? 101.5. Alright, do you guys remember what quadrant?
I did not get 101.5.
cosine inverse of negative 1.
Sounds like a radio station.
I go with the math and got it.
Alright, the calculator's still in degrees, I think.
Oh, I did dumb. Never mind. It
Alright,
was-
what quadrants is cosine negative in?
Far
Yes. 2 and 3. Okay, 101.5 is a what quadrant angle?
Second.
Second, so we got that one covered. So how do I find the third quadrant angle?
180 plus 101.5.
Yes. Or, no, sorry, my bad. Okay, we need the reference angle,
180 minus 101.5.
yes.
Is that how you do it whenever it's too big? Like to just add?
Well, if it's in the third or second quadrant, we need to find the reference angle to help us get the other angles.
78.5.
78.5. So this angle, the third quadrant angle needs to be 78.5 past 180. That makes sense? So we have to do 180 plus 78.5.
Which is just 101.
258.
Oh, wait,
To what?
258.5.
How do we get that again?
Okay, if 101.5 is our angle, that's like from here to here,
Okay.
then our reference angle is 180 minus that.
Oh, okay.
So we had to do 180 plus the same reference angle to get this.
Why did we start doing that?
And the
No.
first, we didn't have to do that in the last two because basically they gave us, on number one, they gave us like this angle right here, which would make it a reference angle, 44.4. And number three, they gave us this angle right here, which would make it a reference angle. But if you're in the second quadrant, this angle right here, from here to here, that's not the reference angle. This is the reference angle. And it should match, this angle should match this angle right here, if you're in the third quadrant. So we had to, basically on 1 and 3, we started with a reference angle. And if they give us a second and third quadrant angle, they're not telling us the reference angle. We gotta figure it out ourselves.
That's
This
awesome.
is weird.
Okay,
Maybe
now-
you're weird. Maybe what that to do?
Number
Maybe you should
7.
Just apply yourself.
But those
I literally can't just solve.
answers are 101.5 and 258.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, what do you guys think we should do
Does
first
anyone ever, like,
on number
put-
7?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3. So cosine of theta equals 1/3. How do I solve that for cosine?
Cosine.
Cosine inverse of 1/3.
Uh, 70.5.
70.5. So that would be a first quadrant angle. If it's in the first quadrant, it has to be a reference angle because basically every reference angle is referencing the first quadrant. Okay. Where's cosine positive at?
Right, so
Right, so this is one of our answers. We also need the fourth quadrant angle that has this for a reference angle.
360 minus 70.
Yes, 360 minus 70.5.
289.5.
All that jazz.
I think it's nap time.
Nap time.
Go with the second one.
In Chinese, the nap you take after lunch is called a shoshi.
We should take that.
Yoshi.
Shoshi.
Shoshi.
Yoshi from Mario Bros.
Shoshi sha.
Shoshi. Shoyoshi.
Okay. Number 9, is that where we're at? 5 secant theta plus 6 equals 0.
Yeah, actually.
I think I wrote that wrong.
German, Irish.
No, I didn't.
I'm actually not liking it.
I've got those.
Because I'm stuck on 11 and
So what you gonna do first? You gonna subtract that 6 and then divide by 5.
Subtract 6 and divide by 5. So that would be negative 6 over 5, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the reciprocal of secant?
5
Cosine.
over 6. No, cosine.
Cosine of theta equals negative 5 over 6. So we need to do cosine inverse of negative 5 over 6.
Can we slow down there for a moment, Buckaroo?
Wait, how we get from secant to
Go ahead.
cosine?
Cosine and secant are reciprocal functions. Secant is not on your calculator, so we switched it to cosine.
But don't you have to like, flip the fraction?
Yep.
Oh, why didn't I see that? Okay.
Why don't they just make like secant buttons?
I don't know. That's a good question, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they don't like us.
It already has a lot of buttons.
Maybe, I bet if you look hard enough, like on the TI-83, you should probably find it. I don't know about that calculator.
Why does it have an automatic braking system?
Great.
It says ABS.
What did we get on this one?
Why is it an in button?
0.4. Alright. So this is cosine equals a negative, right? Where is cosine negative at? Second and third quadrant. This is a second quadrant angle, so that's one of our answers.
I haven't been putting the degree sign, is that bad?
No.
Do you care?
Today your whole.
Not if you don't mind missing 5 points.
5 points.
No.
Imagine being
Imagine not applying it.
like in the movie. It's not that hard.
You're really
just
annoying
define it.
today. More than usual.
We didn't have Jordan to pick on.
Yeah, no kidding. I was gonna say this is
Then I'll be wrong.
compared to Jordan. This is
Consider yourself grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, lucky. Be grateful to win.
okay. If this is a second quadrant angle, how do I find the third quadrant angle as
Referencing.
that has? How do we find the reference angle?
180 minus 46.
180 minus this,
32.6.
32.6
Add that to 180.
plus 180.
Which is 13.6. Sorry,
Okay.
I went fast.
So that is
See what
that
happens when you
146.4 is like right there. The reference angle is 180 minus that,
Yeah, I confuse people.
which was 33.6.
I got it.
So to find the angle down here, you do 180 plus 33.6.
And why would we not
That's in the
33.6 as
Okay, because the angles are from, this is from 0 right here. If I go 0, 213.6 degrees, that's right there. 33.6 is just from here to here. But the real angles go all the way from here, like here to here is 146 degrees. Here to here is 213.6 degrees. The reference angle just tells you how far it should be from 180. Because the distance it is from 180, if they're the same distance from 180, they're basically going to have the same ratio.
Horatio? Isn't that the name of the projector company? Horatio.
Optima.
Not this one, but like the other one.
So, okay. If this is confusing, I'm going to stop and do an example, then we'll try to make it an easy one. Okay. Here's the question. What other angles have 30 degrees as a reference angle? So, in the second quadrant, it's going to look like this. It's going to be 30 degrees from here to here, but the angle itself is how far is it from here to here? Does that make sense? Like these are a mirror image,
Yeah.
so this is 30 degrees, but the angle itself is from here to here. So how many degrees would it be? It would be 180 minus 30, so it's like 150. Let's put out here.
Oh.
From there to there.
That makes sense.
Okay, and then the fourth quadrant angle is kind of like a mirror image flipped this way. It's going to be 30 degrees past 180, so it's 180 plus 30, which is 210. And then the fourth quadrant angle is going to be 30 degrees from 360, so you do 360 minus 30, which is 330. Okay, if you plug in sine of 30, sine of 150, sine of 210, sine of 330, they all come out the same thing. Except for 30 and 150 will be positive, and these two will be negative for sine. If I was doing cosine, these two would be the same, and these two would both be negative something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What are we doing? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I really don't know if I'm doing it right.
6 cosecant. Are you trying to do an E median?
Yeah, we talked for a long time.
Good thing this is a 2-day though.
It is.
Yeah.
Good thing it's one day.
Good thing we
Okay.
got Jordan's 9 English homework.
We had the PSAT that we had to.
Wait, does that mean it's just gonna be me?
This is like studying for the PSAT.
I
Wait.
want to see this stuff. This joke's not on there.
Wait, it only goes up to.
If it is, I'll be super excited to know that.
I
I
think-
Hey, I know this. Yeah.
It does.
Probably not this specific.
No, it probably doesn't have this light of trig on it.
The hardest questions are circles.
Probably has stuff.
Okay, how should I do this, guys? How can I find theta here? Cosecant is reciprocal of.
Sine.
Sine and
So we need to do sine inverse. Since we flipped this one, we can flip this one of 6/9. So you could put in 2/3 right there. You got that part right?
Do you even know
On
what that
number
is?
6.
You're probably
On
doing
6.
yeah, you didn't have to do mine to yours because we're just
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I'm
All right.
public-
Somebody tell me what we got. What do we get? What do we get?
Joshua,
Yeah.
41.8.
Okay.
No, not yet.
I'm doing good in that.
So sine is positive in the first and second quadrant. 41.8 would be the first quadrant angle. How do I find the second quadrant angle?
180 minus 41.8.
180 minus 41.8.
Whoa.
And then why is it
138.
subtract again? Sorry,
Because, okay, the reference angle is this thing right here.
yes.
So they gave us this for a first quadrant angle.
Yeah,
So this angle has to be
6,
41.8,
4.1.
which basically means
Yeah,
the actual angle is 41.8 short of 180. So you do 180 minus that to get this angle.
Hey, Sean.
Let's see if I can make it. I don't know if we can make it easier. Maybe. Okay, so here you go, Bethany. 30 degrees is not what this angle is. It's how far this angle is away from 180. The angle is all the way from here to here. It's like this angle. 30 degrees is just right there. So this angle is 180 minus 30. So this is called 150. This is 150 degrees. Right there.
I didn't think it was that way. Am I the only one confused?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had some people last year that.
Last
Do you remember last year who didn't?
Probably Daniel.
No, it wasn't Daniel.
The only thing I'll get like
Was it
confused
Daniel?
about is
It's like
Which one's the
the
reference
only
angle?
thing Kinsey got wrong on that test was premise. And she's like, we never did that.
What, reference angles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even like for that part, like in the class for that part. Where we're going.
so we're only trying to find what's in the quadrant that's positive. Like, are we looking for the reference angle that's positive in the
Okay.
this one?
You should take the second half. Just
Because this is a positive value, we want to know where sine would equal a positive value. That would be first and second quadrant. If this came out if this was negative right here, where's sine negative at? Third and fourth quadrant. So because it's positive though, we needed to get two angles, one in the first, one in the second quadrant, that have 30 degrees as a reference angle.
Oh,
Or, sorry,
okay.
not 30, 41.8 degrees as a reference angle. So 41.8 is a reference angle for itself, I guess. And then the second quadrant, we did 180 minus 41.8. I don't know if anybody said what that was, but anyway, that's, whatever it is, that should go right there.
Would it ever come out like a positive that wasn't in the first two quadrants?
No, because cosine, sine, and tangent are all positive in the first quadrant. So if it's positive, you'll always get a first quadrant.
Oh, okay.
So on sine of,
Well, so let's talk for this one. Would you ever get a sign that was that was positive and not in the first two quadrants? It's like something greater than 180.
well, if you're doing sine inverse of a positive,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be, they're gonna give you a first quadrant angle.
Oh,
It
okay.
has to be that way. If it was a negative, you're gonna get like a negative 40 degrees or something, and we gotta turn that into a third and fourth quadrant angle. Talk. Okay, where are we at now?
Wait, did you get the second answer?
It's 180 minus 41.2, whatever that. What?
138.
Are we on 11?
13.
13.
Radians.
Oh.
Yay, radians.
Oh,
Huh?
It's in
Oh yeah, switch your calculator, radians. Okay, the directions are we need an answer, we need our measurement to be between 0 and 2 pi, which is pretty much the same as 0 and 360, right? So we still need a first to fourth quadrant in that first rotation. We're rounding to the hundredths, nearest hundredth of a radian. You guys remember what hundredths means?
hundredth means the second decimal place.
Yeah, we're rounding the second decimal place. So how do I find x on this one? Tangent inverse. Make sure your calculator's in radians.
Negative 0.98.
Okay. This tangent was equal to a negative. Right there. What quadrant is tangent negative in?
Second and
Two
fourth.
and fourth.
Okay. Yeah. So we need a second quadrant angle. By the way, when you do tangent inverse, they're either going to give you a first quadrant, like 0 to 90, 0 to pi over 2, and 0 to negative pi over 2. They're going to give you one of these two things. So I need a second quadrant and a fourth quadrant angle. This is a fourth quadrant angle, negative 0.9. This would be, on radians, remember this is pi radians, or like 3.14. This would be like 1.57. So this would be like negative 1.57. The problem is, this is a negative 0.98, and we want something bigger. We have to have our answers between 0 and 360. So this is less than 0, so we can't use this. Or sorry, not 360, 2 pi. I'm going to call it 6.28. Okay, so how do I find the fourth quadrant angle?
6.28 minus 0.9.
Yeah, 6.28, this is the reference angle. So I'm going to do 6.28, which replaces 360, minus 0.98. 5.1?
3.
And then I need a second quadrant angle. So 3.14 minus 0.98. You do 1 over whatever it was. Okay, where are we at? 15? Cosecant. What's the reciprocal function for cosecant? Sine. So sine of x would equal 1 over negative 1.4, like that. So I just, 1.4 upside down would be 1 over 1.4. So we need to do sine inverse of negative 1 over 1.4. Doesn't really matter where you put the negative at. What does that come out to? 0.79? Okay. Where is sine negative at? Down below. So we need a fourth quadrant and a third quadrant angle with this as it's 0.79 is the reference angle. So how do I find the fourth quadrant?
U 6.28 minus 7.9.
Yes, 9.79.
Wait, are there 3 units?
0.5, what is it?
4.9.
Or 5.49? No, we're rounding to the 100th place.
3.93.
And this one, the third quadrant is going to be 314 plus the reference angle. 3.14 plus 0.79. 3.93. Sweet 17. Yeah, this is harder than I remembered. Cotangent of x equals 6.
I thought this was an easy chapter.
I didn't say the chapter was easy.
Or easy lesson.
Yeah, I was wrong.
I mean, it kinda is if you get the thing of it.
Okay, what's the reciprocal function for cotangent? So it's tangent of x equals 1/6, therefore we need to figure out what tangent inverse of 1/6 is to find our angle. 12.2. Okay, the 6 or the 1/6 was positive. Where is tangent positive at?
That's not what
I got
Did you say 1.2?
1.7?
I. Yeah.
1.7, sorry.
What? So
Or
wait,
0.17,
I got like
sorry.
1
It's 0.17.
1.17?
No,
No,
it's
it's
like
0.17.
0.17.
Wait,
Dot 17.
did you have
There, that, right?
Yes, that's-
0.1775.
I'm deaf. No, I don't want that. I should just copy it out of the book, that way I don't have to rely on my
the book is
ears.
wrong.
Okay, tangent is positive here, and it's also positive here, so how do I find the third quadrant?
3.14 plus 0.17.
Yes,
3.1415.
129,565.
I believe that is 3.31.
Then you would be absolutely correct.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, Shaggy.
It's your birthday.
Go
Go
Sorry to
shy.
get it. That's why we have to do 22 of these.
Yeah, literally, it's starting this again.
Okay, what should I do first on 19?
Give up.
Subtract 2 is 6. Divide by 9 is 6/9 or 2/3. So we have cosine of x equals 2/3. We subtracted 2 to get 6. We divided by 9 to get 6/9. 6/9 reduces to 2/3. So So we need to do cosine. You could plug in cosine inverse of 6/9. It's not like a calculator cares. But 0.84. I heard that. I'm not deaf. Completely.
And that would be.
Okay, cosine is positive in the first and fourth quadrant.
So.
This is a first quadrant angle.
So 6.28 minus 0.84 is.
Correct.
5.4.
So yeah, so we had to do 6.28 minus 0.84 to get that guy. 5.44.
21.
1738.
To finish.
You're supposed to have done the evens by now.
I only have 2 to do.
What the nut? I only got to 14.
Okay, 21. What should we do first on 21?
Oh, sorry, 3.
Should I write this one down?
Subtract the 1.
We should subtract the 1.
Then multiply by
4 and then divide by 3.
Josh, you're a genius.
And then
So.
you make it the
Negative
reciprocal.
4/3.
How do you say reciprocal?
Negative 4.
Reciprocal.
Yeah, if you multiply by 4, that's negative 4. Divide by 3 is negative 4/3.
And then
And
it
then
would be
in-
negative 3/4. Whenever you do it. Inverse stuff.
Yeah, flip it upside down so this becomes tangent equals negative 3/4. So we need to do tangent inverse of negative 3/4.
What is spark mean? There's a poster over there that says spark.
Give us homework on PSAT.
There you go.
Aren't you guys going to be gone?
What do you mean PSAT night?
The night
Oh,
before,
you'll be
we were
back?
supposed to cram all the study, but they
Wait,
suggest 2 months.
When are you guys
Tomorrow.
taking it?
Tomorrow.
Like what
They
time?
say 2 months
Oh.
late.
You are the only class we get tomorrow.
It starts at 8.
What about sunflower?
That's elective.
You're the only core class we have tomorrow.
So
I wouldn't
it's all the
expect-
juniors are taking it?
I wouldn't expect too much tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest.
Only the juniors.
I don't expect too much any day. Jack.
We'll lower your expectations.
Lower them even lower. No, I'll just let you guys finish this tomorrow.
Yay.
And then you can do all the 2 problems.
Thanks,
3.
man.
You can do mine.
No, but yeah, I was gonna say you're in charge of helping everybody else, and I'm gonna take a nap in the back. All right, what'd you guys get for this?
Negative.
2.42.
Is he like taking? Oh, I did not. Russian? Is it Russian?
Wait, was it right?
Negative.
No, I got
0.64.
negative. Wait, isn't that Wakanda?
Oh wait.
That's Russian.
That's Wakanda.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Wakandan?
No, it's not.
What are you even talking about?
The country of Wakanda?
Okay, that's right, because I know tangent is negative in the
Donda.
4th quadrant, and that's the 4th quadrant. Okay, okay, we can't use 0.64 because it's not between 0 and,
5.6.
so we need to do 6.24, or 28 actually. 6.28 minus,
How did Donda do
0.64.
that?
5.64.
5.64. And then you also need to do 1.57
Why do we even have that?
minus 0.64 for the 2nd quadrant angle.
What did
They
you
would-
say?
Oh, no, I said that wrong.
I was like,
It's 3.14.
Most people die.
Minus?
Well, they're over.
3.14 minus 0.64, that'll get you the 2nd quadrant.
Correlation equals causation.
Yes.
Well, 2.5.
That's what ancient Greek
There.
philosophy is like.
We did it, we made it.
It's like, huh.
This happened and that happened at the same time.
No, it's like, waters.